Kamala Khan. Do 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 do. You like the thumbnail here for this for a video? I did the. This was popping back when this comic came out. It was a thing where you had to line up your nose to the actual comic book. Since I got it open, all right. The episode was called Generation Y. This first volume, it had the words "no normal." It was the second volume that had the words where is it? Generation Y. Play on words. It's the number of the. It's the generation that it's called. Okay, whatever. A lot of comic book accuracy. As soon as we open it up, when we get to this page here, look, the dad and the son are having the exact same words that they shared right there on screen. He like this page right here was taken straight out of a comic book. So for a show where they're changing the superhero powers of Kamala Khan, which is a negative, which is poor, and which is not something I'm going to forgive. And this is the reason why I can't rate this episode. If you look at the description, sometimes I'll say 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. I can't do it. You change the superpowers of a superhero. There's no way I could number it because that's such a wrong thing to do. But it's so right. What they got correct, they nailed the character. Some of that is writing, directing, and acting. The casting here is exactly what I would want from the cast. There you go. Someone's happy over here in the live chat. Dude, that was effing awesome. It was just like the comic book version of Kamala. Like the person who we have, boom, right there. Sort of like how wow, she's on the same pedestal that I would say what Chris Evans does with Captain America. Like that. That is who that is beat for beat, an amazing portrayal. Also, the directing, they put her in nice situations. The start of the show is the music happening with the Marvel Studios banner, and she is a YouTuber, huh? She's on YouTube. What was it? Fat Sloth Productions. I looked for Chubby Sloth Productions. I looked for it. It's not a real channel. It had a nice little banner, nice little everything. I wish it was real. That would have been so cool because Spider Man, his friend Flash, not his friend, he has like a Spider-Man fan page, and it was a real Instagram fan page that you could see the same one from the movie. So if they went the extra mile and they had like Iman Vellani voiceover, Captain Marvel was at the Avengers fight and she beat him up this and she beat him with that. Hey, listen, that would have been awesome. Now, with her quoting, narrating that fight and how it went down in Endgame, don't you think that because Ant-Man, we learn, has a podcast, don't you think Ant-Man shared information on his podcast to the rest of the Marvel heroes? When we watched the WandaVision, we kind of were questioning how Darcy, we kind of questioned how Monica Rambeau and Jimmy Woo. How do they know exactly what happened here at the end game battle? Well, it's probably because of Ant Man's podcast. Good little touch. I like how we kind of forwarded other characters who have nothing to do with this franchise, who like the Ms. Marvel specifically, her sub franchise within the Marvel franchise, and we're forward even towards like the end credit scene. They got a character from the Spider-Man movie, and they used him, and now we were going to see more of him. And what they established in the Spider-Man movie and who he is and how tough he is helps this show because we got a tough customer over here. This guy was grilling Ned. He was work what was done in other projects built to this. And likewise, I hope stuff that happens here builds in the Captain Marvel sequel and wherever else we get this character. I doubt if she died after just one showing. So the beginning of the show was like, okay, cool. We're getting comic book Kamala Khan. They spent a lot of time in this show trying to make you care for the cast. They did. I cared about Bruno. Bruno did a good job of acting, and then Bruno was also like a supportive type of friend. They don't actually say exactly this, but he does have troubles at home. I think his mom doesn't have custody of him or something like that. He lives with his poor old grandma. He's got a brother too, and we haven't seen the brother yet, but he's definitely somebody who the parents like. When they were younger, they're like, "Oh, go play with that young boy." So to see him in the home with the parents, it's like, yeah, that makes sense why they have this connection with each other, and they don't think anything rotten if she and him are alone with each other. However, if the mom, who was probably the best actress in the whole show, if the mom has issues with Kamala being out at night, then they shouldn't have been over on that rooftop where they kind of, "You're the best, Kamala Khan. You can do anything you wanna do." Looked at her lips, looked at her lips, and then she did the same thing. She was looking like, you close to somebody, you look from one eyeball to the other eyeball, but then they went a little lower, didn't she? Ooh, they're gonna kiss. Now they teased the 50 issues. Issue number 50, I think, is when Kamala got her first kiss, I think. It took a long while to get there. And so they're gonna tease this romantic interest that he is. Read about the negabands to get a better idea about the Marvel history they are using. They messed up the giant Ant-Man mask at the convention. Was it they messed it up as in she ruined the mask, she damaged it, or it wasn't accurate to the way Ant-Man's mask is supposed to look? It was a lot of dollar store Avengers Con. I didn't like the Avengers Con because it looked very TV budget. I could see one side of the hall and another side of the hall in the same shot when we were doing like the big look at how awesome this is. A lot of kids there too. There wasn't like a 40-year-old demographic. There weren't that many people who were adults. It was such a young people's thing, and it kind of worsened it. I think you should have, if you didn't, you should have got more people who were working on set that day and said, all you guys are extras. So you get all the 30, 40, 50 year olds there to, I don't know, to make it look like it's not no kiddie convention. Just the man I wanted to see. So what as we further on in this show, there's the talk. There's Avengers Con coming up. How are we gonna do this, Mom? I'm just gonna ask. And she asks the mom and the dad as they were watching TV, and I audibly laughed when she goes, "How are you gonna dress like like Captain Marvel?" Captain Marvel. Astaghfirullah. Like the amount of like Muslim accuracy here was great. There were some times where I think that they were pushing it, they were going for it. Do you remember when Zoe, the girl, the white girl with who's like a bully to her, she was like, "Oh, I like your necklace," and you could see that they were in the Arabic letters, and I picked up on that. I'm like, "Yeah, that's Kaf, Meme, Lam." Like it was her name in that language. She didn't need to say that it was the name of her language. You guys were watching that. You probably understood what that was. You didn't really need to say, "Yeah, this is what it is." It could have been there for those who know. There was another one where they were kind of pushing it. Where, what was it? What was it? I think it was the brother when he was talking. It slipped my mind, man. It was right there where they could have just left things that the way that they are, but they did have to let you guys know about like. I wish if this wasn't a live recording, I probably would have like stopped and came back and told you what I meant. Didn't Camp Lehigh get wrecked in Captain America Winter Soldier? The Zola computer bombed it, right? Now it's the Avengers Con rave site. Exactly. That's what Camp Lehigh has come to. I like the continuity of what Camp Lehigh used to be. Even the song "Who Loves America?" Star Spangled Man with the Plan America. Remember her? Remember the girls? One of them was the same actress who played Peter Quill's mom. We were not going to forget that. But same song was used here, so it felt marvelly, even though it was a brand new character. She just reminded you she lives in the Marvel universe. Thanks for talking about this wonderful show. I'm not done talking about this wonderful show. After this talk of the wonderful show on my wonderful show, I'm going to Trinity's wonderful show, and it'll be a wonderful show. When I saw the Avengers Con, okay, it was lame, but she got there, she did a little heist. When she left, she's like, this is the way I'm gonna imagine it. First, my plan is to do this, do that, do that. The doodles in there sort of served like how in Ant-Man, the friend paid Luis, whenever he's quoting something and they're kind of acting it, it was sort of just like that, except a little different. The doodles here make the show. The doodles are such a like advantage or such a like a signature of this show. And I knew this going into it. When they said they were going to do it that way, I'm like, cool. Don't overdo it, but also use it to its advantage. The camera work here was phenomenal, bro. Every single time I saw something on the screen, some sort of picture, some sort of Captain Marvel layout, like it was all cool and it was all meaningful, purposeful. It wasn't just for throwaway. Great stuff over there. Like on that aspect of it, that's a whole nother team. It's not just the director. It's not just the the writer. It's not just an actor. There's like some editors in here who actually care enough to spice things up and just add to the enjoyment value of the show while differentiating it from the other shows. Great stuff. And it's not like it stopped me from getting into the human character that Kamala Khan is. It was very human. It was very young too, with the guidance counselor, lame guidance counselor, trying to tell her what she wants to be. I like even the way that the cameras split and it went to one face on this side and another face that was on this side. It was like, oh, we really care. Okay, I mean, maybe I'm overhyping that part, but it was something unique to see. So the plan was set. We're gonna go to Avengers Con. We know how much it means to her. We've been introduced to the family by this point of the show, and like they executed a lot. Instead of what happened in the comics, where she went to a party like outdoors, drank a little something something, kind of like, oh, this what was in that drink? Inhales some blue terrigen mist and becomes an inhuman. Instead of that, there were some bangles that were given from her grandma, and that gave her superpowers. This is how many problems I have with that. Not many. If that's the way that you acquired your superpowers, I understand the Inhumans are not a thing. We are different in Marvel Comics than we are at Marvel Studios, and that's the way that they want to give her powers. Cool. But why were her powers not her powers? She could stretch. That was cool. That's she stretched and she caught Zoe, which is actually in the comic book accurate thing that's supposed to happen the first time she gets her superpowers. She literally saves Zoe from almost dying when she here it is, here's the page. Like she goes into the water and she's drowning, and here comes Kamala. The woman who looks like Carol Danvers is actually Kamala, and Kamala collects her. That exactly happened there, where the Thor's hammer was gonna come and just boom hit Zoe and knock her off the screen. Probably should have done a lot more damage, but we didn't see her. Maybe she'll be in a cast and she'll be like very immobile the next time we see her, because that's a lot of damage. But that was a cool little okay. She can stretch. Phew. Okay. She's still got that power. I've got an issue with the creating, materializing some physical things that come out of you so that you can walk on. That's bizarre and that's not Kamala Khan. But she can embiggen. Hey, all right, it's cool. And also for anyone who told me, well, Mr. Fantastic can stretch, so Marvel doesn't want to do both. They actually did. Her powers are exactly what Mr. Fantastic does. He stretched, remember in Multiverse of Madness, to turn into spaghetti? She could do that too. Then you can go away now with that excuse. It's over now. The time has expired for, well, the Fantastic Four are coming. They don't want to double up on powers. Yeah. Did you guys remember how much times I knocked that down? Oh, well, Deadpool and Wolverine can't all heal because Moon Knight heals now. They can't double up on powers. No more super strength. She-Hulk better not be green. Hulk is green and gets super strength. No more. In every single way, I've shot that down. Now the show itself has shot that down. Ms. Marvel, what is here? Robert says, reminded me of Clarissa. Explains it all style, old school Nickelodeon with the doodles and the daydream talking. In Canada, we don't have Nickelodeon, so I don't know exactly what that means. Best coming of age show since Spider-Man. That's a big praise. The best coming of age show since Spider. You know what, Mike? I just did a tweet where I was talking about people, the haters, the negative Nancys, the we're not racist, but people. They're gonna take this the best coming of age since Spider. What are they got? People are crazy. They're overhyping it. Can you believe that? Oh, that you know what? This because she's not white that they're gonna give her this special treatment. That's what's coming when you say it's the best coming of age story since Spider-Man. You're but if you feel that way, Mike, that's great. It's the best coming of age story since Spider-Man. Great background info. Yeah, I got that comic books right here, bro. Right, the comic books right here. Anzos asks me if I liked it, and the answer is yes, I did like it. They had Nickelodeon shows. They didn't actually have Nickelodeon. They had all the iCarly. They had all of that stuff. What's up, K Dot? I thought you would have been doing a Black Adam thing. I still haven't seen that trailer. You know, DC does not really my top priority over here on this channel. So she saves Zoe, and Bruno's there, and Bruno knows her secret from right away. Great. Don't keep any secrets from Bruno. He does need to know. Mom doesn't. Mom is like the hard ass in this family. and she brings it every single time. You know who else brings it? The dad. The dad, when he came out with the Hulk, he's like the fun dad. He came out, yeah, we're gonna go to Avengers Con with me, all painted green. Yeah, and look what we're wearing, and we can match. It's like they were okay. They were so happy with themselves as parents, where they're like, we're gonna let our daughter live a little. I felt that. I was so happy with them. But she goes, that's so humiliating. Did they just break the parent's heart? Like, that was the first time that's ever happened, is what she tells Bruno, like, "I've never actually seen them hurt." When you get old enough, 16 years old, all of a sudden those words start knifing and hurt your parents a little bit more. They thought they were doing this nice thing where they thought they were like, "Let's embrace her." It's not that we don't trust the boys, it's that we don't trust we trust you, dad said at least. But dad got hurt. Dad didn't deserve that, man. Dad didn't deserve that at all. My mom had to put her in her place. As she's getting her powers, she uses them a couple times. She's like boom, 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 using the photon blast. Didn't like it, but okay, good for her. And she didn't want Zoe to know it was her, and that's fine. She never really looked at her from the face. Later on in the comics, she is gonna actually find out that Zoe's gonna find out exactly who Kamala Khan was. That happens. When does it happen? Who knows when it happens? But is maybe around that sleepover issue. That's one sleepover when they're like, yeah, we knew because that time you went away, we kind of understood that because Kamala Khan, you switched schools and Ms. Marvel stopped popping up. We knew that were the same ones. That's what her and Nakia said. Nakia was in the show. Nakia, here's the thing that's different about Nakia. The way that she wore a hijab showed her hair from like up here, and that's not something like she would have done. The comic book version of her wouldn't have done it or rocked her hair that way. She would have just covered the thing completely. I don't think I've never seen her hair once in the whole comic book run of her. Mike is my jam porter. I agreed. It was a tight show. Yeah, you're reacting to it now. Cool. We don't talk about Bruno. That's on Disney Plus also. Man, I felt that when Kamala turned her dad down. Yeah, that was actually like a little bit of emotion that they showed in this show. It was amazing. Adnan says, Assalamu alaikum. Good. How did you like the way that they handled anything Islam related, Adnan? Did you think that they went overboard? Do you think that they didn't go overboard? I feel like it was a good little accurate adaptation of the words they would use in like Arabic words that would come here and there, and like even stuff like just culturally, I should say. Culturally and religiously, because those are two different things. Yes, Nakia could have done it a little better, her hijab. Yeah, it just wasn't what she looked like in the comic books. I thought that culturally though, he didn't spend time on like food and look, let's open the fridge. Oh, it's the samosas in the fridge. Like it was nothing like that. They did a little quick joke about how the mom was like, here, let me prepare some food for you. Here, how did you just, that was really fast of you. That was a bit much. That's what I was trying to remember earlier. That reputation that like the mom holds it down in the kitchen, holds it down in like when it comes to food and feeding the family. They didn't need to really tell us that. They could have showed us that. He could have gone, oh, so quick, and then "Oh, you gotta tell her, and he kind of leaves the house. Ask, and then he leaves. They stayed on it too long for my liking, where I knew that they were trying to push the point of, in these households, mama is always with it when it comes to like feeding the family. Yes, Nakia could have been done a little better. Islam related, it was okay, I think. That man, the brother Amir was reading quote like the same dua he would say like when you get in the car you have to say Bismillah, and like it was like, yeah, that's something that you say before you start something. Bismillah, you begin in the name of Allah. Allah translates to the word God, and when Muslims say God, they don't mean it the same way as Guardians say God or Moon Knight says God. It literally means the one above all. Like there's no plural version of it, which always makes me feel weird when Marvel and shows like this call gods. I'm like, there's only one God. I like Captain America's version of how he defines that word. Robert St. Clair comes in here. He says that more modernized way of rocking the hijab. You can call it modernized. It's not authentic. Living in Michigan, close to Dearborn. Dearborn is a very heavily populated Muslim city. I see a lot of younger females wearing their hijab looser. It's fine for them to wear their hair however they want to wear their hair. The character that she's playing doesn't in the 616. I felt sorry for Kamala. She was just that teenager experience. Didn't it nail the teenager experience? Holy, you're supposed to pick out your future. That was in there. We saw in the trailer too. You're supposed to also be like respectful to your parents, and you can't. There's certain things you're not allowed to do, which is pretty normal. Going to an Avengers con, that is so basic. Can't go to no movies. You can't go to no like. They did so much here. Thing they also did was during a montage they showed her in gym class. She wasn't wearing like loose booty shorts, and eh, she wasn't showing skin. She was wearing like the school sweatshirt sweater that they supply. Like it was so like, oh, I can see that happening there because the parents wouldn't allow her to show her goods. There was one moment where where she was wearing the Captain Marvel outfit. She looks in the mirror, checking her reflection and telling her best friend, and she was like, "Let me look what's happening here." Like that was so cute. What's here about Bisha K? She did a pretty good job. Not sure about Bisha K all as a writer because she did do that one Loki episode everyone seemed to hate. She did the Lomantis episode. Well, that was like a slow episode and pretty meaningless. But maybe they just gave her that because, like, I don't know, for diversity's sake. Look, it's not all white people. We have Bisha KLA doing an episode here. You can't make anything happen that's relevant. You can't further the plot, or you can't ruin our show. But look, it's someone who's diverse. She's not white. I think that's maybe what they were going for. I can't really blame her because this from episode 1 was really good. Is it because of the directors, Adil Al Bilal Fallah and the other dude, those Belgian Moroccan directors? Was it because of them? I don't know. They're doing episode 1. They'll also do episode 6. Maybe we'll see like a lag in like quality, which probably won't happen because the guys who do the doodles and the editing team are probably going to be consistent for all the episodes. But maybe we'll see like a meow, and then it'll get better at the end where we need them for the finale. Bisha Kelly did fine for my liking. The writing was maybe if the writing was bad, the execution of these actors killed it. So quality acting for certain, I can say that one. TJ says, I felt the mom cooking scene. It's kind of the same in a lot of African American households. This man is from Alabama. He says, if your company, you're getting fed, you probably shouldn't say no. Yeah, but that guy, man, that guy had a to-go bag for like a family of 3. That was crazy. You can tell that they feel sorry for him, his upbringing, and they're like, "Oh, we'll take care of you." Type. I gotta say, the Thor's hammer flying around the room at the con was a bit ridiculous to me. I called that out earlier. Yeah. What happened with the food though? Since we're still on this topic, the food, she's feeding the family. That boy spends so much time in the house. He's allowed to install a system that comes with lights, and he knows enough Urdu where he can say lights on in that language. That man is so involved in the family, and they showed us that without telling us that, and that's like good storytelling right there. That's Bisha K. Ali bringing it. Adam says, I enjoyed the show more than I expected. The lead guru. That must be a spelling typo. What is a lead guru? The lead actress, Iman Vellani, was good. Cool. I like the lead actress also. We're at 10:56 my time, and in about 5 minutes, we're gonna join Trinity's stream. When I end this broadcast, it'll forward everyone over there, like as a raid that they do on Twitch or a redirect, like they called it on YouTube. I enjoyed the show more than I thought I would. The lead girl was really likable. Good. I'm happy you liked it. I'm happy that you got on board with the Ms. Marvel character. The interesting thing about this character is her first actual comic book like storyline, getting her powers origin and like identity and stuff like that is the best, well liked for me. People might actually like the second volume of Generation Y because freaking Wolverine shows up and whatnot. I don't think that it's that good. Also, the Inhumans dog Lockjaw shows up here in this volume of the show, and it's it's probably not going to happen. I saw an interview where Iman Vellani said she was begging, trying to get Lockjaw into the show, and they actually didn't do that. There won't be an appearance of the Inhumans dog Lockjaw. There probably won't be any Inhumans at all. The villain here is the freaking detective from Spider-Man No Way Home. There's not going to be a cockatoo villain either. However, they did draw a cockatoo here once in the show, and I hope that cockatoo doesn't stay. It was like a cockatoo with the brain of Thomas Edison, and that was her villain. Kamala Khan does not have a lot of good villains. She doesn't have a single good villain, I would say, in her whole comic book run. They spend most of the time dealing with things like identity wise, things with like teenage crises, but and they'll get a Loki in here, they'll use other characters from other franchises like Electro to have her have a villain, but they didn't actually like gave her a serious I have a beef as Kamala Khan with another villain. Maybe it's because you can't really have another teenage girl to fight against the teenage girl, and it would be sort of insensitive looking or something or the other. But to me, not so much a good villain rogues gallery for her. Gotta ask, will you see Kamala team up with the champions later? Because no, that's not happening at all. The champions? They don't even have Miles. Riri Williams is filming now. Ironheart is a year away. That's not coming. I think the next time we see Kamala Khan is Captain Marvel 2. And if this is successful, it's easy. Since they were like quoting comic books, they can just quote a comic book issue here or there and just create the next season of this show just like that. I really wish they did a movie though, because then you could see a monetary value, like a successful measure of how good this hit. What they have is watch time. So if a whole bunch of people start watching this show who wouldn't usually watch Marvel, which is very likely, they're tapping into an audience. Like Iman Vellani said in an interview, 1 in 4 people look like this. She was pointing at herself. She was talking about how she's a Pakistani, and that's basically the whole Indian region, South Asian community, or rather geographical like land. That's a very highly populated place. A lot of those guys have Disney Pluses. A lot of those guys immigrated out and are in countries like the UK, Canada, United States, where well, those are the only ones really. I don't think there's a big Australian population, but there's a whole bunch of potential audience members that may be interested in the show that you could watch this now with your ummi and say, "Hey, Abu Ummi, come watch this Marvel. You know I like Marvel because you know I've got the comics, but you might actually like you might see the mom in you. You might view that and see, look, these are that's I'm being represented on screen. Oh, they think that my kid is crazy for loving the superhero stuff just like I do. This opens a new avenue to a new audience and broadening it. So I wouldn't sleep. This watch time for on the Disney Plus, which they'll never admit to us what it was, but the premiere, if this premiere does more than Obi-Wan Kenobi, yes, they will say so. They will. There's no shying away from. This was the most watched thing ever, which is what Kenobi said in the same video where he had to address the Moses Ingram stuff, unfortunately. But they actually said it a couple days prior to. It wasn't like he broke that news in that video. But yes, that's something that this show could do. I'm not gonna ever like sleep on it. Look, we got the Marvel fans who are gonna love it. Remember what Captain Marvel did in the box office? 1.1 billion. Part of it, I think, has a lot to do with Marvel being in her name. Oh, she's named after Marvel, the company must be important. I'm gonna give this one a watch. Ticket purchase right there. What's going on, Ashley Bashley? Nice, Adam. Oh, I skipped. Oh, let me jump all the way back up. Let me get every single one of you guys' messages. I knew this would be great from day one. Just ask Trinity. Trinity is Trinity when he starts his channel, his stream. By the way, I'm gonna leave from here and jump right to there. He says, "Love this episode," and I wasn't hype at all. You weren't hyped at all? Good. When expectations are down here, there's nothing they can do but impress. Unless it's Kenobi, because I was nervous about Kenobi, which I watched later on. I'll do a separate video on that, of course, but the Kenobi show was lacking was lacking pizzazz. Obi-Wan sucked though, did not like that episode. Same. See, Wayne. Yup. See, you should like this show. Robert says, so is the detective technically an MCU character? Yeah. Since he works for the cleanup department, created in part with Stark Industries, which is why he's in the show, even though he appeared in Sony films. Hey, you know what? He's a Sony character who made it to a Marvel thing. See, because he's an exclusive to the movies and he's not actually based on one of the properties that Sony have claim to. So Dr. Octopus or like a Mysterio, they can't be used in a Marvel show because Sony happens to have those rights. But because he was created specifically for the MCU, in that contract that they signed in freaking 1999, he can appear here in the Marvel shows too. The detective whose name we don't even know. The teen drama of it wasn't heavy or in your face, so I thoroughly enjoyed it. But it was there, wasn't it? The teen drama was relatable, and I applaud them for the way that they handled it. Big Hulk, Chutty Hulk, the parents teamed up to destroy their daughter's social life. I don't know. I kind of was because at the end of the day, what Bruno told her, like, no, you got to be Kamala Khan as Captain Marvel. And that's why she went to get some of her heritage from upstairs and she put on the Bengal. So, in a way, they were kind of right. Like, you can't just be the regular old Captain Marvel like everyone else. You got to have a little bit of culture in there because she looks like she's not a white woman. Reefer Man reviews. I just realized I'm wearing my Captain Marvel shirt. Haha. I don't even think about it when I put it on this morning. Reefer. It's a sign. Ashley says, apparently it's getting review bump. Oh, okay. You know what's going to happen, though? That just adds to its conversation. And people are going to, what? This thing's getting review bombed? How bad could it be? Let me see it. I may have not have, like, there's a lot of people who, like, go on Twitter just to fight racism. And when they see it's being review bombed, I'm going to give it a watch. It's easy. So good. It's being review bombed. Way to go. I wonder why. All the people hyped up Kenobi and fell asleep on this wonderful show. I hate to tell everyone I told you so, but I told you so. Clears my throat, Josh. I didn't watch the Den of Nerds, you know, say anything about this show. But if he was down on the show, I don't know. Maybe he'll be up on it now. Have we seen him do a video on it? Josh can change his mind. Josh can get on the right side. Obi-Wan was weak, subjectively speaking. I actually felt that like I had some things in common with Kamala. She doesn't smoke reefer. I'm good. Okay. It seems like she treated at school the same way I was. Oh, you were trying to go to get something from your locker, and the two pretty girls were there too busy being two pretty girls. Damn. I never had that problem in high school, you know. I wasn't super hyped for the show, but I enjoyed it. Yeah, I was just letting you know. But yeah, it builds the conversation, lol. Yeah, it's just whatever. Of course, it's getting review bombed. Diversity is bad, he says. Whatever. You know, we talked about that long enough. I'm gonna go and check Trinity's channel. Wait, let me just refresh his page and see if he has begun yet. He has not begun yet. So let's keep on chit chatting here. It says it's gonna start at 11 o'clock, which it is 11:05 for me right now. So as soon as he starts that, I'm gonna dip. Anyone have anything more to say? Let me know. Sadly, the pretty girls were never anywhere near my locker. But yeah, basically, instead of people blocking my locker, they were there waiting to throw me inside of it. That's not true. People, because you're older than we are. People did not throw people in lockers. At least in Canada, we don't do that. You guys need to step up your manners. God, Americans. Speaking of America, the American culture here was it's there. The dad who and the mom were like so ethnic and so like holding it down for that culture, but the American culture of going to school, everything there was straight up like it wasn't missing. We did feel like the fish out of water because there were scenes where they showed us what you're used to, the familiar world of they just happen to live in New Jersey, an American city, with the infrastructure, with the people there. Hey, I'm walking here. Remember when she was riding her bike past the basketball court and the guys were playing basketball and they complained about it? It was just, and that may seem like nothing, but that was just like a good reminder of where we are. It is nothing. I don't want to overhype a show. Like I don't want to give it too much credit for things that are normal. Seems like a nice chill morning. I think that this show has potential. Where we can go from here is look, the inspectors are going to try and bring something to the school, Cole's school. They are going to antagonize her. Her secret identity remains a secret identity for the longest time in comics. It does get revealed to her parents. And then there's a stupid story where like a wizard says, "Oh, Kamala, you don't want your parents to know about it? All right, don't worry. When you return back to your planet, we'll make sure we take care of that." And then the parents all of a sudden forget that Kamala Khan is Ms. Marvel. And it was like such a disappointment in that story when I saw it, when I read it. I even complained about it here on my channel when I was reviewing that issue back in like 2019. It was such a disappointment. But in this show, maybe they do tell the parents. Maybe that is something that differentiates her from the other heroes. Already having parents differentiates her from all of these orphaned superheroes, and that stands out. Let's build on what makes this character her, and it's not specifically her physical viewable identity. It's also having to do with her family. Her family kicked ass in this show. The brother is gonna be hilarious. Every time he opens his mouth, I'm gonna love it. He's getting married. In this comic book version, he is unmarried when we meet him. He finds a woman, what's her name? Taisha. He finds her, dates her, marries her, has a kid with her, all in the 75 issue span of this character. And most of that happens probably within like 40 issues, from meeting the woman to all of a sudden he has a baby with that woman. And also the brother, so Kamala's step brother. No, no. It would be Kamala's sister-in-law has a brother, and that kid is in class with Kamala, and he knows about her secret identity. So that's the family there, which you say you're loved. Good, they're doing a good job because that is the cast. Zoe is there. There's one character named Josh, aka Discord, and that's a villain that's coming if they do Civil War 2. Now, Josh is another main character from the Kamala Khan stories. Other than her, who there was that Michael girl that Bruno starts dating later on. Other than her, I think we got most of the main cast. And again, in the season 2, we can be introduced to that character, no problem. She rode right through the paint of the court. Exactly right. That was not okay. Nope. I got a shave in a locker and thrown it. You're old too, man. You guys cannot be. You guys get thrown through lockers. Maybe that's where it came from. Your generation started this kids getting thrown into lockers thing in a trash school, and it was middle school. That was brutal. Damn. And then says need to see more and to see how the rest of it plays out. Of course, I'm just saying it did a lot better than Kenobi did. It was sort of like how Moon Knight was. Just this is an interesting show. I hope that the times that we skip from one moment to another moment in Moon Knight, I hope that stops happening and we actually get to see Moon Knight kick ass and see what he looks like and what he's doing when he does his worst, Jake Lockley. And unfortunately, they didn't show us that. Here, it's not that they're not showing us stuff, that we're seeing everything. I just don't like the powers and how she walks on discs. No surprise, Chill was chill in high school. In high school, it felt more to me like a jail cell, a penitentiary. Who knows what song I was just singing from Good Charlotte? Professor Chill, classes in session. You know how it is. Oh my God. So the marriage of the brother. That's what's gonna happen there. He's gonna meet his woman, and we're gonna see a wedding episode that might even be the finale of this entire show. He actually inhales some inhuman mist, and he actually he doesn't have superpowers, but he has like temporary enhancements that are gonna go away later. And unfortunately for him, when her brother Amir gets those powers, sort of the department of like superhero shenanigans look into him and they're like, oh, this guy's a problem. And he wasn't born in America. He could be deported. He gets real. Good Charlotte. Let me check Trinity's channel one more time because it is 11:11, and I told him I'd go half an hour and I would join his stream. He has not begun yet. Let me check my DMs to see what's up. And he has not direct messaged me. Okay. The first episode of Youthful Superhero was better than the middle act of the Ronin name story. What a bizarre comparison. I'm saying. It was. I'm about to drive, so I'll be listening to Trinities. Take care. I think Kamala has like burst on the scene. I love the interviews she was doing and her answers, one of which being Earth 616 is in the comics. This is the Generation Y of 616. You just watched the Generation Y of the MCU. Right, Mike? You haven't seen it yet, but I hope it's everything you hoped it might be. You probably shouldn't be here, Mike. Um, I'll not spoil, and then you can go away. Thumbs up the video and go away, or stay for spoilers. Who cares? The powers which we saw in the trailer is a huge problem, huge no-no. I'm not ignoring that. The comic book accuracy of some of the scripting in the show was word for word. The characters were nailed. The delivery of the actors was great. So yes, the show kicked ass. He's leaving now. Okay, peace out. Mike Rowe Comics. He likes to play Fortnite with the Batman who laughs. I haven't seen the DC stream yet. I'm probably gonna check out the DC, g- what was it called? The Black Adam trailer. See what that's happened. See what that's all about, and then I'll do the Trinity thing also, and that'll be that. I'm just really upset that he hasn't started his stream because it's 11:13, and the plan was as soon as I end. Okay, look, he said the same link from last time should still work. Cool, cool, cool. He just DM'd me. Then cool. I'm gonna end this stream now. I'm Chillmonger. That was my Ms. Marvel review of this show. Good show. Not giving it a 9 or a 10 or an 8 or a 7 because her superpowers were different. And it's very important that she can't just have walking discs. Because what happens when you give her superpowers that are walking discs, or she can just create things the same way Green Lantern does, I'm going to ask her, why doesn't she do what Green Lantern does? What about flying? She has comic book problems which are specific to her powers. One day, if I'm just gonna have to ask, how come she didn't when she was climbing that house, up the house? Why doesn't she just use a walking disc the same way Magneto does and sort of just elevates herself all the way up? Has the power to do that. Why doesn't she cover her entire body with it, which we know she can do, and take it all the way to wherever she wants to go and just start flying? Even if she wants to go to space, whatever, she's got a protective barrier around her so she can fly to space and not be affected by the elements. There's a good reason why she should be able to. When she got the powers, which are the nega bands, which may be associated with the 10 rings, which may be something to build on the end credit scene of Shang-Chi. Captain Marvel says, I don't recognize this energy signature. Maybe she's digging into it. Maybe the nega bands and those 10 rings are related to each other. And I hope that when we lose the nega bands, they feel like we have ancient artifacts in the new phase that used to be what the Infinity Stones, where you have this magical things that are around in the planet. And now it's not Infinity Stones. Now it's nega bands and rings and earrings. Okay, I want to see when that goes away, which it will for Shang-Chi. He's still going to be a master martial artist. I want to see when it goes away from Kamala. She'll still be able to embiggen. She just won't be able to use the discs to walk on, the shield that we'll see her use later on. Anything lighting up, really. Do you think we get more Inhumans soon? I don't think we get Inhumans. Even though we saw them in Multiverse of Madness, it's kind of understood they're from another universe. I'm out so I can actually get some work done. I'll catch you later. I think that when with the nega bands and doing what they do, when she put them on and she actually activated her powers, she kind of fell back into the Nesty plunge, and she went into like some sort of negative dimension or negative zone. She came back to normal. Okay. I don't know much about the nega bands. I know that they're from the ancient Kree. I know that much. I didn't read those comic books from old Captain Marvel. I didn't. So the nega bands are not my expertise. They have nothing to do with Kamala Khan in the 616. That being said, if they can connect it with Carol that way, and that is why they're doing it, I will always dislike it. But I'm here to watch how it plays out. They didn't really need it. Carol Danvers is and Captain Marvel are already fused together. They're already a tandem. Okay, okay. Thumbs up the video. Thanks for joining. I'm gonna end the broadcast, and we're gonna see you all on Second Street Marvel right now.